I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address.
We're not just building muscle, we're building men. In the quiet hours, in the unfiltered moments, in the conversations that happen before the world wakes up. This is the Gloom, where brotherhood forms in the dark so we can lead in the light, where vulnerability is strength and leadership is handed from man to man, one story at a time. Our mission is to empower, exhort, and inspire men to achieve their best selves through stories of reinvigorated male community leadership. We bring you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha packs, ordinary men doing extraordinary things in fitness, fellowship, faith, and leadership, because we believe that every man has a story, and reinvigoration starts when that story is shared. This is the Glue in the Gloom. Shout out to our sponsors, Exclusively Eye Care, Major Team Mortgage, Liberty Core Real Estate, Avior Wealth Management, and Omaha Laser Dentistry. We appreciate their support. Are you or someone you know in the market to buy a new home? Well, if so, check out Major Team Mortgage. They specialize in home purchase and refinance home loans. Their mission is to purposely empower people to experience their good life through building wealth with real estate. You know, showing up in the gloom is no different than showing up for a conversation around your future of building wealth with real estate. Join the action economy and get in the game with Sasquatch. Text or call John at 402-212-0149 to schedule a time today. Individual NMLS number 1393750. Company NMLS number 2478164. Equal housing lender. Now let's get back to the gloom. And we're live. That's how we like to say it here at the Nomad in downtown Elkhorn. And I'm excited to get your story. So I've got Tassels with me today. Recently a site Q at the Octagon, right?
Yep.
So kind of I don't know if it's central sector, but it's, you're
A lot of people from the east, central east.
Yeah.
I was feeling I was pulling some views in that were maybe a little more east side who weren't necessarily coming to the Octagon or the district area.
Yeah.
Hopefully a couple guys who will now make a regular appearance there once in a while.
I love it. I believe that was our first non-Murph Monday site. I could be wrong on that, but one of the first, if not.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
It was started by Bloodshot, I believe, in 2020.
Yeah.
So kind of the months after the pandemic. I think it was launched August of 2020. So yeah. Well, that was well before I was hosting.
We'll get into all the details of being a site Q, but would love to just get kind of your story, and where we like to start is kind of that EH journey. I don't know who EH'd you, and then would love to hear how you got the name Tassels.
Yeah. So first person who kind of really got me or really said something about F3 was Khakis.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily give him the credit for EHing me, but he gave me the introduction, and I've done a COT about the importance of just asking.
Yeah.
Because the right time, right place may come later down the road, but giving somebody an introduction, what if helped me when it was actually credit with EHing me. I do event photography work, do some stuff for Bellevue University. So I saw Hua at commencement. This would have been 2023. I started in 2023.
Okay.
So first part of June, I saw him at commencement. He asked me what was going on for the summer and getting ready for a Boy Scout trip, going to the Boundary Waters canoeing at a conference and some things going on. And I just kind of circled back to the Boy Scout trip, and I said I probably need to start getting a little better physical. I was pandemic wasn't good for me. I put on weight, just wasn't fitness, was healthy spot. So I just mentioned that I probably need to do a little something in preparation for canoeing, portaging, carrying our gear, lake to lake, and everything that involved with our Boy Scout trip. And he's like, I got a thing for you. Told me, he's like, I'm leading the site, Cornhusker Handicap. He's like, I'm going to be leading a workout like 5:30 in the morning. he's like, khakis is going to be there. You can often
Yeah.
recognize the khakis part, but
Right.
like, Joe's big in it, as you know, and that. So he didn't send me a second follow-up message to re-invite me, but I just rolled up on that Tuesday morning and posted. And the name Tassels, I have an event photography company.
Okay.
Most of my events that we photograph are collegiate events, graduations, commencement exercises. So recognition ceremonies where you might cross the stage to be recognized, and that tassel.
Yeah.
the grad tassels. And I grew up in a small farming community, so corn tassels.
Yeah.
There's a couple different entendres. Take that.
So you're one of the few guys that has a name that might actually kind of make sense.
Yeah. But in the gloom, when you introduce yourself, there's, that the strip club, worked at a strip club, the nipple tassels and corn tassels and all sorts of other versions of that. But yeah, grad tassels.
Yeah.
Kind of work.
Leave it to the guys in the gloom. Well, I love it. I'm curious. So khakis had mentioned it before, but it was
and I thought it was an absolutely stupid idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was probably, I'm thinking it was probably a Thanksgiving or something. And he had probably done the turkey trot or whatever that morning.
Yeah.
And he was like all fired up about having done the 10K or whatever amount that he had run that morning. And that just sounds
terrible.
That doesn't sound
funny. What, I would be curious, what do you feel like changed? Was it just you had this event and you thought, okay, now I need to get ready? Or was there anything else going on that maybe prepared you to say yes?
Probably right time, right situation. Definitely the fitness part of it when, I was like, hey, this is the type of workouts we do. 45 minutes, we do it early and we're done before kids need to go to school. He knows I have a younger son. So probably just caught me at the right time, right mental spot. I'd work from home. So I work by myself a lot during the day. So it probably also the, hey, we're going to go for, we're going to work out. We're going to go for coffee. We're going to sit around and visit. So that probably also appealed to me as well. Getting that social aspect that I really hadn't had with work from home guy.
Yeah. Coming out of that pandemic, I feel like so many people were in that space, right? Like my work, we were not working remotely. Then the pandemic was just the full remote work. And so you just like instantly were disconnected from, the people you used to work with.
Right at the time of the pandemic, I actually was running a cargo van. I was doing kind of hot shot deliveries. And a lot of what we were doing was medical related delivery. I was doing a lot of in-home dialysis deliveries.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But pandemic happens.
Just like kind of a side hustle kind of thing? Or
I had formerly worked at Life Touch and was a sales guy selling the photo services of Life Touch to colleges and universities kind of in the upper Midwest part.
Yeah.
My wife travels for work. I was traveling for work. We had, just things in life that were colliding. So I had to make a change. So I left Life Touch and drove with Lyft and Uber for a little bit and just kind of did some of that type of stuff. I had a friend who's like, hey, I'm taking an international trip. Can I give this delivery company your name to fill in for me while I'm on? He was taking like a 3-week trip.
Yeah.
I was like, sure. It was all 1099 contractor type of work. So I started doing it. I kind of enjoyed it. And I'm like, went to the guy who owned the freight company, the broker, and said, hey, how do I make more money? He's like, buy a van. Okay. So I bought a $750 van off of Craigslist and put a little work into it to be my first van. And that van lasted me about 1.5 years and conked out. And then I bought another van and just ran cargo. So in 2020, when we weren't sure what was going to happen, but people still need medical deliveries, especially people are doing in-home dialysis and such. So I ended up having a very good 2020. I actually drove 110,000 miles in 2020 primarily in my van. Went to like 14 states doing deliveries. It was kind of.
You should have told that story. We could have named you like Kidney Bean or something.
I have delivered human organs.
Okay.
There were times you would get a late night phone call The broker I drove for had the contract for Donate Life Nebraska.
Wow.
So you would get you would get a 8 p.m. phone call saying, "Can you go to Denver?"
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And usually, if you're getting that kind of call, it's you're going to pick up blood samples at a hospital.
Yep.
You're driving it to the, I don't know, blood testing site in Denver, and they're then finding matches within the donor database. So,
wow,
it cool, but at the same time, it's kind of a heavy thing because you're carrying something that's hopefully going to lead to a match, and somebody's going to get a transplant. As a result of a bad situation.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. As I'm hearing you talk through this, I'm curious. Because I spend a lot of time, and I feel like a lot of guys do. We sort of maybe put our identity or purpose in a job. And I don't know, just with your experience, how have you navigated that? Like, do you feel like, because it sounds like there's some uncertainty, right? You left one job so that things could be okay at home, and then you kind of finding whatever you could. But it seems like you're in a good spot today. Like, how did you work through all of that?
Yeah. So I continued to, it was 2018 when I left working full time for Life Touch, but I continued to photograph for them seasonally. I helped out seasonally with different busy times of the year.
Yeah.
And coming out of the pandemic, the office that I used to work for closed, and that was who I got assignments to photograph for. The corporate offices decided we're closing this office. We're going to transfer these, and I got invited into a Zoom meeting where they announced that they were closing this office and this is how things are going to be. And I'm like, this doesn't sound well thought out. I'll let it sit for a bit. They did a second meeting where they pulled in and nothing, still really didn't have a plan. And I'm like, I'm done. So I typed up an email saying, thanks for the opportunity. I'm no longer going to do events. I didn't have anything in the next 30 days for them. I'm like, so
good timing.
I'm like, I'm just going to consider this effective immediately. And don't need to ask me for, to help in the future. But as I kind of got to thinking about it, I'm like, their lack of a plan was going to affect a number of schools that I used to work with.
Oh yeah.
So I called a couple of photographer friends and said, if I start up on my own, small, event photography company, will you contract with me? Will you help me out? Got some yeses there. I started calling the schools that I knew best, especially the ones that this would have been September, 1st of October of 2021. Called a couple of the schools that had December ceremonies, graduation ceremonies, and said, hey, just a heads up, I'm no longer going to be coming back. I'm no longer with that company. You're welcome to call them, email into them, see what they're doing, what they have in store. I don't know. But if you find yourself in a position you need something, I am looking to start my own. Just kind of left it at that. Didn't crash my former employer.
That's good. Yeah.
But just kind of planted it that, hey, I'm starting. Booked some stuff pretty quickly. And I still continued to run my cargo van for a year. Was getting this up and going. I didn't pay myself for the first year I ran the photo business. Staff, a network of photographers I already knew, have added some more and additional. So have gone from no school contracts in 2021, and now I have 25 colleges and universities in 4 states.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been
amazing.
It's been a very cool growth.
Yeah.
And I could have probably grown faster, added some additional, but I'm trying to also manage the resources and the network of people I have without harming the relationships with the schools.
Yeah, you don't want to get too stretched thin. Wow, yeah. I had to be scary at times. I'm imagining uncertainty.
Yeah, May. Each May is there's a struggle each May. Yeah. I'm already looking. I already got the 2026 calendar somewhat started to be plotted out.
Yeah,
and I can already tell you Mother's Day weekend is going to be hard.
Yeah,
but you just kind of know this far out, and hopefully you can I can recruit some additional photographers,
Yeah.
kind of get them up to speed. What I need almost all the photographers I hire do their own stuff.
Okay.
They may have one of them is a very talented lady here in Omaha, and she does real estate and maternity and babies. I'm like, I need help for like 3 weekends in May, a couple weekends in August, December. And she appreciates it because it's something she can plan out well in advance and kind of work her other schedule around what I give her.
Yeah.
Other people that work for me, one's a faculty member at UNO.
Hmm.
Another one works in, has been a photographer in the past and had a marketing company. And now he does kind of customer service stuff. So it allows him to continue to photograph. So it's a couple semi-retirees that kind of do some help for me. So it's been a good experience.
What would you say, like, to a guy that's maybe working through or thinking through, like, man, maybe I want to start my own business in whatever area? Like, any learnings or advice you would share? Like do it, or are there some?
Yeah,
maybe...
you kind of just have to at some point in time just do it.
Yeah.
When this opportunity presented itself to me, I told my wife I had previously had a photo studio, had it for 5 years, kind of just, it wasn't, I didn't run it right.
Okay.
The first time. Yeah. Difference of being 50 versus 30 something and choices in how you run your life.
Yeah.
So the first studio I had didn't work out. Kind of always been in and out of photography for 30 some years now.
Yeah.
So I kind of keep gravitating back to it, but it didn't work out the first time I did it. Had a retail studio. But when this opportunity presented itself, I kind of told my wife, I'm like, I'm 50. It's time. If I'm going to do it, it's now.
Yeah.
And just the situation financially in our personal life was a whole lot different. The stresses, there's stresses, but it's different kind of stresses than there probably were in the 30s when I was trying to contribute to the household of feeding a couple toddlers at that time.
Right.
So just a different experience. As far as starting a business, if you can do it on a small scale and grow into it, I feel you're gonna be better positioned to succeed if you can kind of grow into it. If you give yourself a little bit of a runway and experiment and try some stuff, and if it fails, move on.
Right.
Don't necessarily hang on to something that's not working. That's probably the hardest thing. Is probably like what I experienced in my first go around with it is I tried doing the same thing much longer than I should have. Probably should have hired what I did. Just financially and mentally probably would have sooner or to move on. And today I'm have that knowledge to make it better. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're in a good spot. I appreciate you sharing that. I just always am fascinated by what guys do outside of the gloom. But I'll try to get us back on track here. More focused on some of the fitness stuff, I guess. So you were telling us about this Boy Scout trip.
Yep.
How did that go? Did you get in F3 enough time so that you were?
I was June 20th would have been my first day, and the trip would have been 23rd of July or so. So it was only about a month.
Okay.
But I hit it hard. I hit it pretty consistently right out of the gate. Got done with that first post and probably at coffee said, well, where's a good spot to go tomorrow? And the guys, Cornhusker. So a lot of the guys were like, we're going to be at Beverly tomorrow. And I believe might've been like Gunner or someone. A couple of the guys who were at Cornhusker said they were going to be at Beverly next. So I went to Beverly Hills and it was Future. So I actually hit 3 consecutive days right out of the gate and kind of fell into a pattern for the first until that trip of about 4 days a week.
Nice.
And had I not done that, I probably would have fallen away.
Yeah.
But by committing to doing it 3-4 days a week right out of the gate, I kind of have kept that.
That's cool. So what was your impression of that first workout? Do you remember what it was like? Was it difficult for you?
Yeah, it was difficult. I was not, I was probably doing the medical deliveries that I had been doing prior. I probably felt strong,
Yeah.
but I don't run.
Yeah.
I'm still not a good runner. So the Caruso and Woody were there the first day as we were, and hipster. So been as we took off on a run around the circle at Exarban Village. I'm like, why actually, I absolutely just have to at least keep up with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just mentally, I just like, those guys are little older than I am,
Yeah.
and I have to at least keep up
Yeah.
with those guys. And Caruso and Woody, I kind of joked with them a little bit at coffee after saying, my first post, I mean, mentally,
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to keep up with you,
That's funny.
to push through. It was difficult. I actually have taken Uaz, probably my 1 year anniversary, his workout from that day. He shared it with me, and I redid it back at Cornhusker or another site. Reused his workout, and it was just a grinder, and it was a little running, a little Merkins and everything, just all mixed in. But it was difficult. And Beverly, being primarily a running site, also probably wasn't the greatest feel for me and my lungs the second day I did, but push through, and here we are.
So I would be curious. So you went 3 days in a row and then kind of got consistent. Then you went out of town. Was it tough to start back up again once you got back from that trip? Or
no, I kind of, probably more because of the fellowship, I think is probably the social part of it, is kind of what drew me back. But even though it was only a month or right around 4 or 5 weeks, I could tell that it was a good thing physically and mentally, for me to be out and to do it. And I kind of found it a pattern, 3 to 4 posts a week was the right number for me at the time. And I kind of fell away from it a little bit here this summer, but now kind of get back in that number.
Yeah. I think I'm 3 days a week, and that's we do my F3 journey. We've added more kids to our family as I've been in F3 longer. So it's like I started as a 6 day a week guy, and then have slowly and now settled at 3. But I finding some sort of rhythm, right? Like, okay, I can't, the guys that are doing it 6 days a week, kudos to them, because it's a lot, especially if you're pre-running or smurfing or whatever.
And I'm not strong in the pre stuff.
Yeah.
I when I was site Q, that was one day a week that I dedicated that I'm going to free.
Yeah.
Not necessarily run, but I would go and throw on a ruck pack and go for a walk.
Yeah.
There were a couple regulars that would show up. Wentworth, more recently, Rest Stop was coming on a regular basis, to do the pre stuff as well, right there at the end when I had the flag. So that was just something I dedicate. I'm like, if I'm going to be a site Q, I'm going to make sure I'm there at 5 a.m. If somebody does come and wants to pre-run, I can run with them if they want. But for the most part, most of the guys who were freeing at the Octagon were more willing to ruck. Because you have this come down to the Octagon.
Yeah, I love it. That's always a fun exercise to see if, can we smurf and then get to the Octagon in time. There were several either shovel passes or VQs over the years that tried to do that.
And I always told the queue, especially if they weren't familiar with the Octagon, or maybe it was the first time they're queuing and posting, and it might be the first time. I'm like, hey, just 5:30 start. There might be a couple more cars still streaming in. Don't worry, they know where we're at. They'll find us. So it's I have not done that yet. I haven't done a smurf and then Octagon. But I probably in the future.
Well, talk us through. So you grew up on a farm. You kind of had mentioned that. From a fitness standpoint, kind of looking back over the years, where are you at today? Are you feel like you're in a pretty good spot, or you still kind of have some goals you're trying to achieve? Or?
No, there's still a couple more goals. I'd still like to cut a few more pounds. I kind of find myself, did the Queen service. There's those the additional things that's like, okay, that's something I probably should do. So the Queen service, or I didn't do hard 75, but I know the guys that do go full out on that. I did a little modification on it, and cut the alcohol for a good portion of 75 days, and
Yeah.
So cut way back on that. And I was counting calories. So I kind of hit a number and it's like, okay, if I could just
Yeah.
hit the next little threshold, and I haven't quite done it yet. Actually found myself bouncing pounds back up. So
Yeah.
there's more goals. I probably would like to run better than I do. But if I don't,
You'll be all right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love it. And I think there's so many different things in F3, right? And each guy kind of experiences them differently. I would love to hear, as you think about that fellowship piece, maybe for guys that aren't aware or haven't gone into like Queen Service, talk us through that, like building relationships and maybe how things like Queen Service played a role.
Yeah. Someone like Beta was probably the person who introduced Max is who introduced Queen Service, and probably a guy I posted with or saw him at a coffee, and they were talking about the Queen Service, and I asked him to explain what it was, and his personal journey. You see Beta and how hard he works and runs and all of it. I wouldn't have ever had any idea.
Yeah.
Told me he was close to 3 pounds at one time.
Yeah.
And seeing his transformation and his dedication to it, and a lot of his, at least in my interpretation, is that a lot of it is because he is very aware of putting into his body nutrition wise.
Yeah.
That probably led me to want to get involved with it, and join the Slack channel for Queen Service.
Yeah.
And, getting accountability of what are you putting in your body? How much alcohol are you in? Overdoing food? Are you overdoing this? Or, I fall away from it. You do it for your dedicated Queen Service period of time.
Right.
And then I quit tracking calories, quit monitoring the alcohol intake. And then all of a sudden you're like, maybe I've overdone it a little bit. I probably need to track the calories once again. Maybe I better monitor alcohol intake, cut back a little further. So, alcohol is probably one of the, probably something that I, not because of drinking when I'm filling a 6-pack, but frequently it's like, it just adds up over a course of a week. One with dinner or two in the evening. It's like, that was a lot of empty calories.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody earlier this morning about, even just trying to go, like you're saying, like try to do, a week or 75 days or whatever it might be, just trying to kind of almost prove to yourself like you don't really need it,
Right.
And I think that's been something cool to watch, guys. Cause I do think there are some guys like myself, right, that have struggled with addiction and can't, indulge at all. But then there are plenty of people that can have a healthy relationship with alcohol, but then there's still some variation of that. So it's cool to hear.
Well, it's harder to do it often and want to wake up at 4:45 or 5 a.m. to go do a beat down. And then you just kind of feel a little sloggy as you're doing the beat down.
Right.
So just kind of, you limit it to 1, 2, and then stop at that point. Better.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would be curious too. So you mentioned Boy Scouts a little bit, right? And I do see there being some similarities, maybe just different focus on different age groups, right? In terms of like trying to build young boys or men as leaders. And I would be curious your thoughts on how do relationships and that accountability piece play a role in that? I'm just curious your thoughts.
Yeah. So I have 3 sons.
Oh, okay.
2 of them are in their 20s. So I have 26-year-old, 24-year-old, and a 14.
Okay.
We have a later blessing, a tag along blessing that came later in our marriage. The first one was not interested in the scouting activities. He was more athletic, much more of a social kid. Our second son went all the way through. He is an Eagle Scout.
Wow. Okay.
And he was completely all in on camping, all in on following through. He had a really good group of kind of peer age kids that were doing the Boy Scouts. So it became a right spot, right position for him. So similar to F3, if you find that core support group, you're all working towards the same thing. You're working independently for those goals. They were all independently working towards their Eagle projects and Eagle status. But but they were all kind of working at the same pace,
Right.
towards that individual goal, but had each other to lift up.
Yeah.
So my son Jonathan uh, did get Eagle, and now our third son, 14-year-old, is moving that way. I think he will, because I think
Cool.
he's got the same experience my second son had, in that there are 5 boys. Of those 5, I believe 4 of those 5, there might be 4 of those 6 have older brothers that earned Eagle.
Okay.
So not only they probably have a little bit of family
Yeah.
pressure from maybe an older sibling or parent that's like, hey, we're going to do this again. But they also just have a core group of friends that are kind of also working towards the same goal.
Yeah.
You know, the fellowship, those campouts. I think the Boy Scouts, scouting, no longer boy scouting.
It's scouting.
It's
Okay.
scouting,
Yeah.
because our girl groups now in Omaha.
Yeah.
So scouting probably has a lot of the same things. You're working towards goals together, but you're on an independent schedule to do it. You get those fellowships, so you get your meetings, you get your campouts and your summer camp, and we do the boundary water trips every other year. So really an opportunity for them to take the reins.
Yeah.
They have to hold an officer position.
Okay.
They have to hold a leadership position when it comes time for rank advancements. So they have to hold, a patrol leader position, or they have to have some sort of leadership experience to move up in the ranks.
And are you an Eagle Scout?
I am not.
Okay.
My small town where I grew up, scouting wasn't an option there.
Could you get it now?
Could I get it? No. To get Eagle, you have to complete all the requirements and your Eagle project prior to your 18th birthday.
Oh, okay. So you've aged out.
Yes, I aged out a long time.
That's pretty rare, right? There aren't like a ton of people go.
And
all
it's
the way
only it's something like less than 2% of any boy who.
Yeah.
I keep saying boy, but anybody who ever joins Cub Scouts or any level of scouting, it's something like less than 2% will actually earn Eagle.
Yeah.
It might be 1%.
Yeah.
It's a pretty small number. We fortunately, Holy Cross Catholic Church is where we go, and that's where our troop is associated with. Our charter sponsor is Holy Cross.
Nice.
We had we have a good relationship. We had a wonderful man, gentleman by the name of Ray Stavnik, who was a scoutmaster for probably close to 30 years.
Wow.
I mean, his kids are my age,
Yeah.
and he was the scoutmaster for my son.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He was well beyond having any family relationship within.
Yeah.
He was a parishioner at Holy Cross, but just loved scouting, love the activities of it, love the mentoring the young at the time it was all boys.
Yeah.
Through the scouting process, and he a very unique individual. The first time I ever went to summer camp with him, I'm like, what's my role? What do I need to do, Ray? And he's like, just walk around, make sure the kids got to where they're supposed to be. Because they're kind of a little bit independent, but you still kind of want to go peek your head in and make sure they're in the classes that they were supposed to do at camp. He's like, just walk around and make sure they got to where they were. So I did my task, and I came back around, and he's sitting at a picnic table, and he's got a legal pad out, and he's writing letters. I'm like, oh, you're writing letters, or what are you working on, Ray? And he had a stack of printed emails. And he was handwriting letters back to people, replying to emails that he had gotten from friends and family. So
wow. Okay.
He was a unique guy, and person I'm very happy that my son got a mentor under.
That's super cool. It is cool to hear the similarities, and I would be curious, as you think about your experience in F3, talk us through like some of those relationships and maybe how those have helped you kind of pursue goals, or maybe just continue to stay engaged. What's that been like for you?
The relationships have been beneficial. The last 2 years. I'm posting for just a little over 2 years now. Were quite important. It was 2 years ago this month. My wife got a cancer diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
She had breast cancer. So kind of probably about right now, 2 years ago, she was going to some appointments, getting in a ultrasound and
Wow.
mammograms and those types of things, discovering, and then the oncology appointments. And we actually got the official call. We probably, before you know, but we got the actual call. We were on our way. We were going to the Nebraska-Minnesota football game 2 years ago.
Okay.
Which is also our wedding anniversary, August 31st.
Okay.
We actually got the official call from the oncology office that she was positive.
Wow.
Yeah, she did have breast cancer. A couple years prior, during the pandemic, I probably would have food, alcohol.
Yeah.
Probably would have been the go-to. F3 became that go-to for me.
Nice.
First non-family, though not other than my parents, siblings, her siblings. Probably the first people I told were F3. That football game was on a Thursday night, so we had gotten that news Friday morning. Got a very early phone call from my wife's sister. Her stepfather had hip surgery earlier in the week. Well, he had developed pneumonia, so they were taking him to the hospital.
Oh, man.
He was being admitted to the hospital. So my wife was stepfather that her diagnosis call the day prior. She was no longer interested in having a weekend of fun
right
in Minneapolis. So we checked out of our hotel, packed up our bags, and came. I posted then on Saturday morning at the Canyon. So those were the first people I shared it that were non-family of my wife's diagnosis. Lots of prayers, lots of I started getting text messages, messages via Slack, posting the next week. People knew and asked and offered, what can we do? Is there something we can do? Something we can help with? But I was still fairly new with it, so I probably didn't lean on some of that as much as I could have or should have or would do today.
Yeah.
But definitely could tell that Brotherhood cared for you, loved you, and were there to support you.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry. How's your wife doing today?
Clear.
Okay.
So good. A good situation and a bad diagnosis. Early, small, low growth.
Okay.
She had a family history. Her mother had breast cancer as well.
Okay.
So when this was presented, and even years prior, my wife's like, if I ever get this diagnosis of breast cancer, she's like, I'm just doing double mastectomy. So her mind was made up, straight out. We still had all the doctor's appointments and everything. But yeah, so we got the call on August 31st. Her surgery was then October 5th. And she had a double mastectomy and was laid
just
up
to kind of like say, okay,
we're not dealing with this again.
Yeah.
I not probably being the right husband and supportive husband in some respects. My sister-in-law works for CHI.
Okay.
So she joined us for a couple of the appointments. My wife's referral to the cancer doctor actually came from a number of people, but my sister-in-law also said, "Hey, this is who
I would see.
This is who I would see if I see." So our sister-in-law, my wife's sister, joined us for a couple of those appointments. There was an exam, so my sister-in-law and I stepped out while my wife was examined, and I think my sister-in-law recognized there was something. It wasn't feeling right about something, or something. Right. And she's like, "What are you thinking?" And I'm like, "Oh, I wish there was a little more discussion." I'm like, Amy, my wife, my Amy is her name, has pretty much like, this is what we're doing. I'm like, I wish there was a little bit more discussion on, is this the right thing?
Yeah.
Thank my sister-in-law, the way she kind of came back into the room, and doctor's name is Paige. Like, Paige, if this was your sister, is this the right treatment?
Yeah.
And she's like, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Family history, da da da. And I felt better about that.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked that.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think. Don't think my wife would have appreciated me asking that question. But since it was her sister, it helped ease me to the treatment plan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, healthcare stuff, and I've worked in healthcare for a long time, but it's just, there's this level of uncertainty that a diagnosis or some of these things bring on. And then if it's somebody else, right, and you're trying to be the supportive family member, having the guys in F3, at least for me, has always been just a helpful sounding board, right? And even if it's not like we've been through that and here's what we did, but just the like, that sounds tough, let me pray for you, or what support do you need? It just goes a long way.
Yeah. And people were texting and, can we do, is there anything? And all of a sudden, like, my wife's friends, all kind of meal trains and everything kind of filled up before I could circle back around and share with some of the F3 guys that were asking what to do. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. My wife's,
it's okay to have a good support system.
Like my wife's family and friends and our neighbors have kind of filled it up before I could share it with you guys.
Yeah.
But the prayers were much appreciated. But she's doing very well.
Good.
Right back at it. And there's a whole lot with just the after.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, didn't realize we were going to have to make those kind of decisions.
Right.
Like, that's new.
Yeah. One of the questions I would have for you, just hearing you kind of talk through this, what, as you think about the relationships that you've built in F3, what has that done? I guess, has it had any impact on maybe the relationship with your wife or with your kids? And kind of just curious, like, how does having relationships like that help form you as a man too, just in some of your later years?
Yeah, I'm hopefully some of the things I hear in the COTs and just hopefully I'm being more reflective. I probably at times were overreacted with kids. Especially when kids are teenagers, 20-year-olds, 20-somethings. Parenting 20-year-olds is probably the most difficult because you kind of see what they're doing and you're like, want to help them and direct them, but they don't necessarily want to take your direction.
Yeah.
They're like doing it their way.
Wait, that doesn't change. My 3-year-old does that now. So.
No, and they can just walk away from you now. Right. They have their own houses, apartment. They can just walk away from you.
Right.
They don't have to engage with you like the 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So I hope I am. I still need to do a better job of listening and not being. At times. Sometimes I probably just say what you should do and not the why.
Yeah.
I probably need a job with the 14-year-old who can push buttons. He knows how to push mom's buttons. He knows how to push my buttons. But overall, hopefully I'm doing a job of listening, and hopefully some of those skills, I know some of those skills are things that I've heard come up in COT, hearing other people talk about their struggles. It's not unique into my household. You can hear it in the gloom when the circle of trust is going and people are being vulnerable about relationships with their kids.
Yeah.
And relationships with parents. Both my parents are fortunately still with us. And, you hear the relationships that people my age or younger that are dealing with their parents, difficulties that they have. Not only do we have to parent our kids, but sometimes we have to be open to an adult child aging.
Yeah, you're kind of in that what they call the sandwich generation, right? Where you've got, maybe at some point you're caring for both your kids and your parents, right? As they need.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have to care for my parents, and they also don't live in a.
Okay.
So my sister, unfortunately, will get the the responsibilities of that, and as he lives across the alley from my parents,
Yeah.
so her proximity is going to be much closer.
Yeah. There you go. Well, I love it. And I think, for me, it's so cool just hearing your experience. One other question I would have for you, just thinking about a guy who, because for me, like my kids are younger, so hearing about guys with older kids, but was just talking to a guy who had just dropped his daughter off to college. His oldest of three, first one taken to college, and kind of adjusting to that, like, okay, she's not, this is our first night without her there. Anything you learned from that, or any advice you'd give to guys that are going through that phase?
Yeah. All of our kids were active and social, and the campouts and such. I mean, we have friends that their kids really never stayed over anywhere, right? They didn't do overnight campouts. They didn't do overnight summer camp, such. So they really are emotional. If you can kind of, I think if you give a little bit away early, it helped. And hopefully you've just prepared them to the right choices. I think that's probably one of the most learning thing is, are they going to behave the way they should? Are they going to, be responsible, make good choices? Choices like 20 years old were not
right.
Were not good.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'm guiding to make those right.
Yeah, I am terrified. Thankfully, I have a ways to go, so I'm trying to really just remember that and invest time now. And my oldest is 10, and she went on her first overnight summer camp this last summer, and so that was it was an interesting experience for everybody, right?
Without any parents there.
Yeah, just overnight camp. It was in Fremont, so close enough, right? If we were needed, but it was still, like a sleepover at a camp with a bunch of other kids. And
so everybody do all right in your household?
Yeah, it was great. I think it was interesting. So our middle child was probably the one that had the biggest struggle. She was sort of like, where's Georgia? Where's my sister at too? Always is playing with me and doing stuff. And so that was it was good though. I think having those moments that you can then talk through and explain the why. Here's why she's going to this camp, and maybe when you're older you'll go too. And so we survived.
We actually probably had the more difficult one, not the oldest, but the second one. He moved out was probably more. Because our youngest Cooper has posted with so poison ivy.
Oh, nice.
I'm familiar with
There's
that.
A fun story to go with that, I bet.
Yeah. I'll circle back to that. But Cooper he was 9 years younger than Jonathan, our second son. And Jonathan graduated high school in 2020. A lot of uncertainty that summer.
Yeah.
He had decided he wanted to go to Drake in Des Moines.
Okay.
But there was a lot of uncertainty. Are we going to be remote? Are we going to be online? Are we going to do a hybrid? And kind of 1st of July rolled around, and they're still undecided about how they were going to do campus life.
Oh, wow.
In 2020, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, I've decided I'm going to stay at home 1 year, take classes at Metro, and work. And it actually ended up being a great thing financially for him, as well as just gave him 1 more year of maturity before he left for campus. He did end up transferring to Drake a year later, but that was probably more difficult for our third because now he's had his brother around 1 more year, no longer around. It just kind of was probably the more difficult dropping child off at, because not only were you dropping off child at college, but the relationship he had with his youngest brother was quite a bump.
Oh, well, I'm thankful I have a few more years before all of that. It's so cool because F3 gives us access to all these guys that have been through so much life and in sort of in different ways, right? You've got 3 boys, I've got 3 girls, but still so much that we can learn from each other. So I love it. Liberty Core Real Estate is your homegrown real estate broker. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, whether personal or investment, Armando, aka Brian, and Megan Michaels' company is ready to serve you. With Command Center in Old Town Elkhorn and agents all throughout the metro, they are more than ready to guide and serve you in your next real estate endeavor. Whether your next move needs to happen now or in 5 years, call or text Armando at 402-770-2165 to get your questions answered. And a special offer for F3 Nation PAX members, Liberty Core will donate $250 to your sponsor of choosing for every closed transaction. Stop looking, start finding today with Liberty Core Real Estate.
I would be curious in all of this and hearing, your story. Where does the faith piece fit in for you? I guess I would love to hear, if maybe take us back a little bit. What was faith like growing up? Was that part of your life? And then, would also love if you're willing to share kind of, during your wife's diagnosis and some of these, just the flux, right, of life. How has your faith kind of progressed over the years?
Yeah, I grew up in a Catholic household, Catholic family, still Catholic family. And Sunday morning church, when I was real young, so kind of that 5-6-year-old age, we lived actually a block or so away from the Catholic church in a small town I lived in. So I remember grandparents, uncles who would have been, my mom was the oldest of 7. So I have uncles who are 5 years, 6 years older than I am. So wow. I'm closer to my uncle's age than I am to cousins.
Yeah.
So everybody would go to Sunday morning mass and then breakfast and family life. Everybody would seem to come to our house after church, and it was breakfast and egg sausage.
That's cool.
So that was part of the church experience. And even when I was in high school and we actually moved, parents, my uncles, everybody moved to a different town, all kind of in one fell swoop in early 80s. Even then, there would be times where it would be after church, going to grandma's house, or after church, going out to uncle's, and Saturday night mass and fish fry after mass on a Saturday night. So, growing up, church was kind of, you met there, and then it was kind of like family stuff after.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Our kids did go to a parochial grade school up until they got to high school, and then they doing a public high school.
Yeah.
But we still practice. Our kids were altar servers.
Okay.
My wife is a EMHC Eucharistic minister at our church. So we attend regularly. We're there most weeks. But every once in a while, I'm probably occasionally skips the regular Sunday mass. I still play baseball. So Sunday
nice.
mornings, there's sometimes a conflict, and I probably don't make Saturday night mass, so I sing it's today I'm probably try to read a little bit more, and just kind of different times our church will put out the daily devotional type of books, and I'll try to pick one of those and keep a copy on a desk and pick up one of those and read a verse, read the thoughts that go along with it. I'm probably trying to be better, make that a bigger part of my life than I did.
Yeah. What, well, I want to get to, so tell me real quick. So you still play baseball? What's that all about? Or is it like an adult men's baseball league?
Yeah, there's a number of guys in F3 that still do.
Okay.
So, you kind of start kind of crossing paths with different guys. Play in 2 different leagues.
Okay.
There's a Wednesday night league, which is a younger guy league. You have to be 30 to pitch. That is like one of the restrictions. Yeah. But we have guys in their 20s that are playing with us. We have actually 2 father-son duos on our team on our Wednesday night league.
Nice.
Both of the dads are in their 60s. One has a son who's 26, and the other one's 32 maybe.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool to play with those guys, and kind of father-son duo. And And then that's Wednesday night. On Sunday, it's a 50 and over league.
Okay.
So the 50 and over league, you have to turn 50 in the year that
you start. Okay.
that you're playing.
Yeah.
So you can technically be 49, but you have to turn 50 in that calendar year to play in the league.
Nice.
There's only 4 teams, so you kind of play a round robin like 5 times through.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. We're actually going to Dyersville, going to the Field of Dreams, and we're going to play. We did last fall, and we're going to take a group back again in September and playing a 50 and over wood bat league.
Wow.
There
that
are
would be awesome.
Yeah, last year there were 12 teams in the tournament. This year they've told us there are 18 teams.
Okay.
Our first game will be playing a team from Tampa, Florida.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So it's pretty competitive.
Yes,
yeah.
it is competitive. We got runner up last year.
Nice.
We made the finals, so we were pretty excited about making the finals.
Oh, I love it.
In the first year. Last year was the first year they did the 50 and over wood bat tournament. So we were pretty excited to make the finals.
That's really cool. I should get back into playing ball. I was played baseball growing up and got injured before college. Long story short, I was in a softball league, but for me it was a challenge because it turned into a lot of more drinking and that sort of thing than any.
I've tried the slow pitch softball. I play, and my wife and I played a couple of co-ed teams over the years.
Yeah.
And I just never enjoyed it as much as I do the actual baseball. But there's a couple, Wentworth, Mufasa.
Oh yeah.
Big unit. All 3 of those guys play. They actually all play on the same team.
Okay.
So, they all play on the Wednesday night league, and Wentworth plays also on the Sunday.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
There's always room. They're always adding more guys. There's always guys coming and going within the league. So if you want to play,
I'll have to.
I'll connect you.
Yeah. As my kids get older, I'll have to add that to my list. I would love to. Whenever the College World Series is in town, I always just love watching. And I think, of all the things from high school, that's probably the one thing I miss. Right? Is like being on the mound and being able to play.
Yeah. High school sports were fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of the camaraderie, and I think that's part of what the F3. Yeah. From what I've read and you miss that team aspect of it.
Yeah.
And we're competitive. We're playing to win. The win and loss for me personally, it's not the most important part of it.
Yeah.
You're active. You're out having fun. You goof around. Again, another group of guys that you get to see socially. Now, the baseball teams I play on are pretty much, Wednesday nights, Sundays. That's the only time I see these guys over the course of the year.
You can always EH them, right? Bring them in.
I've brought it up to a couple different guys, but they all seem to think the 5:30 thing is
a
little something to overcome. So we'll see. I'll keep working some of them.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thanks for sharing that. I heard you say that. I was like, okay, I got to learn more about that. Well, the other piece of this, right? So think about the mission of F3. We want to reinvigorate or invigorate male community leadership. Talk us through, and I don't know whether it's your VQ or the chance to lead a site. How do you feel like we're doing in terms of teaching men leadership or giving you opportunities to lead? Do anything in that space?
No, I think it's if you want to lead, you have opportunities, and you can lead in a way that really isn't too demanding of your time, but it gives you enough of a introduction to those skill sets. To take it back to your daily job, take it back to your household. Some people are a little bashful about asking people to do something, and asking someone to lead a workout is a pretty low bar to introduce leadership and communication skills. I was trying to recruit the person to take over for me at the Octagon, and person I was hopeful that it was going to take, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the same day, Little Big Town was like, "Hey, how does a guy get a flag?" I'm like, "Oh, funny you should ask. Funny you should ask, because that's about all it takes." So we talked about it over the next few weeks. He and I chatted about it, and he was like, "I want it. I want to take the flag." And I'm sure if I would have said, I need to give it to you in 3 weeks, he would have said yes. This would have been probably April, May of this year.
Yeah.
And he was all in. He was ready to jump on. And I'm like, just before we officially set a date and such, I do want you to have a conversation with your M.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's aware because he's got a toddler.
Yeah.
Another one due like any day now or any week now. So I just asked him to share it with your M. Like, it's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of work involved. But you're going to give up some mornings. You got to make sure, they're going to be fine with that. So, just hopefully I guided him the right way to get started.
Well, and I love that. I think that's some of that too, is just your leadership from this place of wisdom, knowing, if we can teach more and more guys to, like, as you're making decisions, your wife is a really good person to talk to before you just commit to things. So that's really good.
The wisdom of a good partner, whether it be the right spouse, partner, even in business relationships, if you just share it and communicate, what you're thinking, I think sometimes they can open you up to those blind spots. That you're like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Well, and you never know, right? I had one guy recently was doing the same thing, right? He said, let me ask my wife. And her response was, how's that any different from what you're doing today? And he was like, okay, but at least, it gave him some insight into kind of how she is viewing, F3 and where it fits in their world,
The little bit of time, I'm sure since I took over the flag, my wife sees me on Sunday afternoon, doing texting or she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I need to texting whoever's on the site or whoever's leading tomorrow. I need to text them to verify that they're going to be there. Nothing changed in their life. Do a quick little bit on Twitter. Nothing, I'm like, give me about 15 minutes here. I just need to verify a couple things.
Not too bad. Oh, I love it. I just really appreciate you taking time to share your story. I would be curious, is there anything that we maybe didn't cover, any, nuggets of wisdom or advice or experience you would want to share with guys that are listening in?
Kind of going back to my EH is just sharing what you're up to. The opportunity or the time wasn't right when Khakis brought it up, but it became the right thing at the right time when Hua brought it up. So, keep sharing what F3 is. You may not catch the guy on the right moment, but the next guy who does ask him, it may be the right time.
Yeah. Keep after it. I think that's really good. I have made the mistake of, you ask somebody and they say no, and you keep asking them. And so now instead of, I'll get guys that I've tried to EH that'll come up and say, are you still doing that F3 thing? And it's like, yep, we're still doing it. And we'd still love to have you, but I think the timing is always so interesting. Like even in your story, right? You got introduced into this group and then you went through this difficult thing with your wife and you kind of had the support, some of the support in place, but
and really with guys that I didn't know well, didn't know me or I didn't know them well. But again, sharing my story or sharing my wife's story, with the F3 situation was beneficial. It was, something I shared with the F3 before I shared it with, my college roommate.
That's really cool.
Other neighbors, learned it sooner, just because of that prayerful intentions I knew that would be coming my way, because of sharing that.
Yeah, I love it. Well, again, thanks for taking time to just share your story. This has been great, and I'm excited to just continue to get to know you more. What are you doing now? Are you what's next in your F3 journey? Are you doing anything else, or you're
right now I'm just going to kind of get back to posting on the regular, 4 days is going to be my target number of posts. The Murph challenge, I kind of signed up to do the 12 and I kind of let it slide. Now all of a sudden it's crunch time. So it's time to knock out a few of those. So the next couple of weeks we'll be on that. So I do enjoy doing some downrange posting when I get an opportunity. So have posted Rapid City, Oklahoma City, Phoenix. So yeah, you kind of Omaha certainly seems a much tighter knit group than some of those other spots. And some of those other spots, it's like workout just starts. They kind of don't run through the core principles. Don't state the mission statement. There's not a shovel flag. It's just kind of like,
oh wow,
you just kind of like go, and it's like, okay, I guess it's go time. So I think that the tightness that the Omaha community has is beneficial to the growth of it, because it's not so loose on the way that things are done. I did do an 8 p.m. Actually, I did a nighttime post down in Phoenix once. That was way different.
That would be interesting. I don't know if I could do the evening workout. I don't know. Maybe someday we'll add an evening,
Somebody said that they did try it for a short period in Omaha, and it didn't take off. This one was, it seemed like the guys that were there, I was downrange. There were like 8 local guys.
Okay.
And it seemed like they were a tight knit group that lived like right in that neighborhood, because I think 5 of them like just walked up to the site. They didn't even like drive up. And that's one reason why I was a little confused, because there wasn't a flag, and I'm just like standing there, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden they just like walk up right at go time, and they're like, okay, we're rolling.
Let's go.
Away we go.
That's funny.
Different kind of situation.
Wow, I love it. Appreciate your time. We'll do a little NAMO to end us off here. I'll start us off. Brandon Fleehardy, 39, The Plague.
The Plague. Todd Snover, 54, Tassels.
Tassels. And you respect. And then you do a little you do the tassels.
Little grad tassel thing.
Which helps clarify that
the grad tassels, not the...
I appreciate your time, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.